नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्. Om. Dear friends, welcome to the study of the Mahabharata. I was telling you the summary of the Mahabharata because some of you may not be knowing the story. Most of the children nowadays, because of Amara Chitra Katha and so many other books, they are aware of what is called this the entire story line of Mahabharata. There may be some people who might not have known. So for their sake, I am telling this story in brief. So yesterday we came up to the point where the Pandavas, they completed their so-called forest, not so-called, their very rigorous forest life. They stayed in the forest for about 12 years, and they also stayed underground. Underground means not they digging burrows, etc., unknown to people, but in the midst of people only, not somewhere in caves and hillocks and whatnot. But the condition was when they lost that game of dice. If you recall, the Pandavas, the Kauravas, they invited them for a game of dice, and in that game of dice, the entire kingdom was put on wager. And these people, they lost the entire kingdom. And the condition was that these people, Pandavas, they had to go for 12 years and then stay in the forest. And one more year they have to spend in the midst of people somewhere and undetected. That means in disguise they have to stay. And after 13 years, at the end of 13 years, they will get back their kingdom. So that was, in fact, Pandavas and Kauravas, they shared some kingdom. So this portion of the kingdom which was lost, they should get back after 13 years. That was the agreement. So when these people completed, and then again they sent some emissaries, because they have to send some. The natural procedure is, okay, we have completed the formalities, we have completed all the conditions, and you please give back our kingdom. So but these people didn't hear. Who the Kauravas didn't hear, because the Kaurava chief, his name is Duryodhana. You may be recalling, his name is Duryodhana, and his father is the blind man, the blind old king Dhritarashtra. They didn't bother to give back the kingdom. So again, they try to explore all possibilities, because straight away, our principle, the basic point in Dharma Shastra is, straight away a person should not go for war. You have to explore all possibilities of peace. So that is the reason why there are 4 steps which are told. Number 1 is a peaceful persuasion. Number 2 is conceding something. Okay, peaceful persuasion means, okay, we have completed all conditions, and then you please give back, and persuading them. And number 2 is conceding. That is, okay, you need not give 100 rupees, you give me only 50 rupees to me. Suppose you owe me 100 rupees or $100. Okay, you need not give $100, you give only $15 to me or $10 to me. So that is conceding. Then the third option is creating some time of this, a slightly tougher option, tougher in the sense more, aggressive action. That is, okay, if the enemy camp is there, in that enemy camp, I will try to create some rift among themselves. I will try to create some rift, and then I will try to achieve my purpose. And if all these 3 do not work, then naturally, then you have to declare fight, and then, okay, yes, I have to fight for what is due to me. So these 4 steps are called Sama, Dana, Beda, and Danda. So these 4 steps, Sama, Dana, Beda, and Danda, they have to explore. So that is the reason why they explore this procedure called Sama. They gently persuade, they don't listen. And then again they say, okay, take the entire kingdom, but give us at least 5 villages to us. We are 5 brothers, and give us at least 5 villages. So they didn't agree even for that. And Duryodhana said, I will not even give a piece of land which will stand on the tip of a needle. Suppose this is the tip of a needle. So I will not give even that much of land which can stand on the tip of that needle. So that is a famous statement by Duryodhana. So there was no other option. The third option was creating a rift in the enemy camp. That was also not possible, because all those people, you see, there is what is called a gang of thieves. Thieves, there is so much of thickness, as thick as thieves, we say. So like that, there was no chance of dividing. And even that they try, but then there is no chance, that didn't materialize. So then what is the option? So they have to declare a war. So that is what happens. Lord Krishna himself goes and pleads for peace. Lord Krishna himself says, yes, they are capable of fighting, but they do want peace. Then Duryodhana and others, they said, no, there is no question, we will fight. those fellows, they are not equal to us, we will not give anything. So then the war ensued. And at that time, we stopped there. And there, what happens? There, the armies, both Pandavas and Kauravas, they gather huge armies. And they come to a particular place called Kurukshetra. The place of battle is called Kurukshetra. That place is now in Haryana. Haryana, about 15-20 kilometers somewhere near Chandigarh. From Delhi to Chandigarh, you will pass through this Kurukshetra. And recently there is a memorial also which is erected in recent years. Recently means in recent years. And that is a vast open area in those days. And that Kurukshetra was the land which was selected. That Kurukshetra was supposed to be a very great land where their ancestors had performed very great yajnas. That is such a sacred place. So in that sacred place, they gathered, and they had to fight. And just before the fight commences, Arjuna, he wanted to see who are all the people on the other side, because this man, Arjuna and Pandavas, they came after 13 years, and they gathered some friends, but then they do not fully know who are all on the other side, so they just wanted to see. So he requested Krishna, okay, Krishna, let me see who are all the people who are there arranged in front of us, who are all aligned in front of us. Let me see with whom am I supposed to fight. And Lord Krishna, he takes him, they takes the chariot, even they were on the chariot, he took the chariot and kept it in the middle of the two armies. And there, then he saw on one side, of course, his own people he knew. All other people, they also he knew. Other side, who are the people he saw? He saw Bhishma. Bhishma is his own grandfather, Arjuna's own grandfather. That is, Bhishma is the man I was telling you yesterday or day before. Day before also, we also had a summary of this Mahabharata. So Bhishma is that great mighty warrior. That mighty warrior who did not marry and then who gave the kingdom to Dhritarashtra, who gave the kingdom in favor of his brothers. And that Dhritarashtra is somewhat like a nephew to him. Dhritarashtra is Bhishma's brother's son. He is like a nephew. So Bhishma surrendered the kingdom, though Bhishma had the right to rule the kingdom. According to some pratigna, we will see that pratigna, a particular oath he had taken. According to that oath, he did not take the kingdom. So that Bhishma was there. And Drona is their own teacher, the teacher who taught them all the archery and taught them all the divine weapons and whatnot. And Krupacharya. So like that, all the elderly people were there. And again, all these Duryodhana and all other people, all relatives, friends, uncles, grandfathers, etc., etc. So then Arjuna got rather, what can we say? We can't say sentimental. He got into a sort of anguish. Yes, we are going to kill all these people, and then there will be a lot of sin. A lot of sin will accrue to us. And in fact, that is what Dhritarashtra had told them earlier. Dhritarashtra also had sent some one emissary, and he had conveyed to the Pandavas, if there is a war, there will be a lot of bloodshed, and you will get sin, and then you will attain a lot of sin. You are all great people, you are all great warriors, etc., etc. So that psychological operations or psyops worked on this Arjuna. And Arjuna, he felt really, he was in a sort of anguish. How can I fight? These are all my people. Then Lord Krishna had to tell him what is his duty. Krishna is not provoking him to do, but then he had to tell him, yes, you are a warrior and you are a Kshatriya. Your duty is to establish dharma. When there is adharma, adharma means unrighteousness. When the evil is trying to overpower good, then what is a good man supposed to do? A good man is not supposed to lie low and then he is not supposed to lie like a footmat. He is also supposed to fight. The good also is supposed to fight. So that is what Krishna says. You are on the side of dharma and you are entitled for the kingdom. And those are the people who have done all the offenses on you. Not merely kingdom. They have taken your land. Not only that, they have offended your wife. And then they tried to disrobe Parvati, this Draupadi in the full court, in the midst of all the people. And they are the people who tried to kill you so many times. And these are all great sinners. And it is our duty to put an end to them, to stop them. So that is what he said. So naturally, at that time, then Arjuna also, he understood his dharma. Dharma means his duty. Dharma, there is a word called dharma in Sanskrit. We will be using it very frequently. Dharma is the duty of a very, very loose meaning. That is the responsibility or duty of a person under certain circumstances. Suppose I am working in a particular field, and in that particular field there is what is called my job profile, and doing my job perfectly or fulfilling all the requirements of that job profile is something which is my dharma. So that is how this is here Arjuna understood his dharma, and then the battle commenced. And after the battle commenced, Bhishma himself was the warrior on the other side. Bhishma again was a very, very invincible warrior. Though he was old, he was still jumping like a young man, and he was unbeatable for about 10 days. The entire Mahabharata war, if you see, it goes on for about 18 days. And for the first 10 days, Bhishma himself was there, and Bhishma himself, he fought and killed a lot many people on this side of the Pandavas. And the Pandavas were totally perplexed. What to do? This old man cannot be defeated. So then this Dharmaraja, who is Dharmaraja? The eldest among the Pandavas. We know that there is Dharmaraja, Bhima, Arjuna, Nakula and Sahadeva. So Dharmaraja, what does he do? Then he goes to Bhishma, and then he goes after at the end of the 9th day, then he goes and requests Bhishma, you are unbeatable. So you please tell me how we can tell us how we can defeat you. Then Bhishma himself tells how he can be defeated. So he says, there is a person called Shikhandi. There is a person called Shikhandi. He was born as a woman, and then he is now become a man. I have sworn, I have taken an oath, I have got an oath that I will not fight with such people, neither a man nor a woman. So that Shikhandi, of course, is now a man, but still Bhishma, his vow is that he does not fight. We'll just take a break and come back. Let us come back. So Bhishma tells the secret how he can be defeated. Then the next day, these people, they bring that Shikhandi, a person named Shikhandi, who was born as a woman and again becomes a boy, becomes a man. Then Bhishma doesn't fight. Bhishma just gives up weapons. Then from behind that Shikhandi, Arjuna shoots some arrows. And is it dharma, is it right or wrong? There is a lot of debate about it. We are going to see that. And when Arjuna shoots arrows, naturally when Arjuna's arrows are very, very powerful, and Bhishma falls down, but he has got a boon that he cannot be killed. He cannot be killed, and then he can only be incapacitated. So he just fell on the ground. He just fell on the ground with all arrows all over the body. It was like a bed of arrows. When it was like that, then his boon was that he can choose the time of his death. So he just fell there and waiting for some good day or some good muhurta to die, some a particular time to die, and then he was like that. So he is out of the picture. So again, after Bhishma, a person named Drona. Drona was made the chief of the army on the other side. So during that time, Drona's time also, it went on for about 3 or 4 days. And again, during that time, many warriors got killed. And again, at that time, in fact, when one great warrior, or rather 2 great warriors from the side of Pandavas, they got killed. One is Abhimanyu. Abhimanyu is the son of Arjuna. During that, during the time when Pandavas were staying that underground life, that is 1 year in disguise. At that time, he was staying in the court of a king called Virata. So Virata's daughter was later given in marriage to Arjuna's son. So Arjuna's son is this Abhimanyu. Abhimanyu, he was such a great warrior, and that warrior got killed. Another great warrior was Bhima's son, that is Ghatotkacha. Ghatotkacha is another very, very powerful character in this Mahabharata. So he also got killed. So like that, lot many great warriors, they get killed on this side and that side. And finally, Drona also is one man who is invincible. Then again, they have to find a secret, find a way as to how to kill Drona. So Drona he had a vow that if there is such a very, very unpleasant news like his own son's death, Drona has got a son, another great warrior called Ashwatthama. So if his son dies by chance, due to some reason, then he will give up his weapons, he will drop down his weapons. Astra Sannyasa, it is called Astra Sannyasa. So that is the vow. So then it so happens that Dharmaraja tells, yes, Ashwatthama died. So on that again there is a big debate whether is it right for Dharmaraja, is it correct for Dharmaraja to tell a sort of half-truth. They killed some other thing called a huge elephant called Ashwatthama. And then Dharmaraja said, yes, Ashwatthama died. It is neither truth nor untruth. So there is again a debate. So like that, Drona puts down his weapons and he becomes helpless, and somebody goes and chops off his head. Then again another great warrior called Karna, he becomes the chief, and that Karna also gets killed. There is a mighty duel between Karna and Arjuna, and Arjuna kills him. So that is again that great warrior also dies. Then when all the great heroes die on the other side, on their side, then Duryodhana, he alone is left. He alone is left, and he goes and hides himself in a huge pond. So Duryodhana has got a particular vidya, a particular what can we say? He has one particular secret by which he can stay in water for any length of time. So that particular knowledge he had. So he stayed in that water, not known to anybody. Then Pandavas, they came to know of it, that this man is hiding in some lake, and then they go and challenge him. And Duryodhana, being a person who is a very self-respecting person, Duryodhana, for all that, his one virtue is he is a highly self-respecting person. He may be very, very arrogant, but he is highly self-respecting. So he can't take any insult. So the man immediately comes out. When he immediately comes out, there is again a battle. There is again there is a duel, 1-to-1 fight with Bhima. The only man who equals Duryodhana on the side of Pandavas is Bhima. So Bhima is again, I was telling you, Bhima is a very, very strong man, but he is not so well trained as Duryodhana, because Duryodhana, for these 13 years, he had tremendous amount of training, because he knew that on one day he had to fight that Bhima. And Bhima was actually staying in the forest, cutting wood and things like that. And Bhima, for 1 year, he was actually cooking in the house of Virata. So he was like a cook. So it was like that. But still, Bhima kills this Duryodhana. So there ends the battle. So there, after the death of Duryodhana, there ends the battle. There is one more person who is remaining, one person called Ashwatthama. And Ashwatthama, it so happens that he kills all the sons of these Pandavas. The Pandavas, 5 people, they have got 5 children, 5 sons. So the Ashwatthama goes in one night and then secretly kills when they were asleep. So that was a very sad thing. So after that, then again the entire battle is over. When that entire battle is over, then Yudhishthira is that Dharmaraja. What is Dharmaraja? Dharmaraja is the Pandava chief. So his other name is Yudhishthira. Dharmaraja is one name, Yudhishthira is another name. So we will be using these two names while referring to this person. That is Pandava chief, the eldest among the Pandavas. He is called Dharmaraja or Yudhishthira. Then this Yudhishthira, he becomes the king, but still Yudhishthira is a very, very sensitive man. He doesn't have any mental peace, and then he is feeling sad that all these people have died, and then so many people from the Kuru dynasty have died. But still he had to fight, and then when he fought, the people had died. So that is the picture. So then what happens? Krishna advises him. Krishna is there, he is the advisor. We know that Krishna does not fight. Krishna, though he is on the side of Pandavas, he is only a charioteer. He was the person who was driving the chariot of Arjuna. And he was just giving some instructions to Arjuna. Charioteer giving instructions to the main fighter. So usually the fighter has to give instructions to the charioteer. Whereas here, the charioteer is advising the fighter. So like that, here also, Krishna advises Dharmaraja to go to Bhishma. Bhishma, we know that he was still on the bed of arrows, and he had chosen his time of death, that is after a couple of months or so. Then this Dharmaraja goes and bows before him, and after all, Dharmaraja is his own grandson. So Duryodhana, this Bhishma also has got a lot of love. Then why if you see Mahabharata, you will get a doubt. Why did Bhishma tell the secret of his own death to Dharmaraja? Because he knows that Pandavas are on the right side. He tried to prevent the war, but he could not prevent the war. but he was loyal to the throne. He was loyal to the throne. There was no other option but to fight. So Bhishma, the same case. Drona also is the same case. Because of their loyalty to the throne, they had to fight on the side of Duryodhana, and they were prepared to die. In fact, they were mentally prepared to die because of in order to atone for all their inaction. When so much of harassment was going on towards Pandavas, these people, they were helpless. They could not do anything. So for all that, they wanted to atone. They wanted to atone, and then they just died. They continue with Duryodhana because of the hope, with the fond hope that this fellow will change at some point of time. But this fellow did not change at all. Even when all the people died, the fellow did not change. So that was the picture. So Bhishma tells him, when Yudhishthira goes and requests Bhishma to tell certain things about statecraft, etc., then Bhishma tells him various things relating to statecraft. And he also tells various things relating to moksha. Moksha is the spiritual, what we call spiritual path, spiritual sadhana, as we say. So he tells two things there. There are some huge parva. I was telling you that Mahabharata is having about 18 parvas. In those 18 parvas, two huge parvas are Shanti Parva and Anushasana Parva. So there, he tells all these things all these things relating to how a king has to rule, and various other social, what can we say, customs, manners, etc. There is a long discussion about, because Bhishma was actually, he was there. He was not exactly a dying man. He was fully mentally alert and all that. And Dharmaraja was going to him, and then he was listening to him, and then he was asking various questions about what are the duties of so and so. What is the duty of a Brahmana? What is the duty of a Kshatriya? Or what is the duty of a Grihastha? Grihastha means a householder. What are the duties of a sannyasi? Sannyasi is a person who has given up all the worldly pursuits and retreated to the, given up all the worldly pursuits. So like that, he tells so many things relating to social manners, customs, what we call Dharma Shastra. So Bhishma told all those things, and he also told about what is called Moksha Dharma. Moksha Dharma is how a person has to progress in the spiritual path. So he told all those things. And thereafter, in what is called Uttarayanam, Bhishma chooses to die, and then he leaves the body. So that again is a sad spectacle. And thereafter, after some time, then Krishna also dies. Krishna, naturally, Krishna, we know that it is an avatar, and that avatar cannot be there permanently. The purpose of the avatar is to restore order. And in the beginning, I forgot to tell you that the purpose of Krishna's avatar is all the people like Duryodhana, Dushasana, and all these people, they were born with some demonic traits. There is what is called a divine trait and a demonic trait. So the people who are born with this demonic trait, and they were actually harassing good people, and they were the people who are on the unrighteous path. They are on the path of evil. So such people had to be controlled. So when adharma or unrighteousness grows, then there is a divine mechanism by which the divinity manifests as a human being and then restores order, restores dharma, restores good in society. So that is the secret of what is called avatar. So Krishna also, he lays down his body. And again, after that, Pandavas also, they leave their kingdom to their grandson, because Pandava's only son, the 5 sons through Draupadi, they got killed. And Arjuna's one son through Subhadra, another wife, Abhimanyu, he also got killed. And Abhimanyu's son, only one small child who was in the womb of Abhimanyu's wife when Abhimanyu died. So that child, he became the king. That child, after when all these people, the Pandavas, he also grew up. That boy's name is Parikshit, and he became the king. And at that time, they put Parikshit on the throne, and then they again retreated into forests. The Pandavas retreated into forest, because in those days the practice was the king, after being emperor for some time, maybe so many years, 30 years, 40 years, whatever it is, and then they used to retreat to forest. They used to give up the kingdom. They used to leave the kingdom to their heirs, And in this case, the for the only heir for the kingdom is the person called Parikshit. So they leave that kingdom to him, and then they go to what is called Vanaprastha. Vanaprastha is just retreating into forest. And Vanaprastha is so interesting. Pandavas, if we see, they went to a particular place, what we now call Kedarnath. In Himalayas, there is a place called Kedarnath in the UP, in the state of Uttar Pradesh. There is a particular pilgrim center. It's a very great pilgrim center called Kedarnath. And from that Kedarnath is just bordering China. And from that Kedarnath, they walked further north. And if you go to Kedarnath, the people will tell you, yes, from Kedarnath, the Pandavas, they moved in this direction. The temple in Kedarnath is said to have been built by the Pandavas only. And from Kedarnath, after worshipping Lord Shiva, they went towards north. And then after some time, Draupadi falls down when they were just walking into towards what is called. Their idea was to walk to heaven. So, okay, now we may not be able to believe that statement, but what Mahabharata says is their idea was to go walk to heaven. So when they were walking, then what happens? This Draupadi falls down first. Then after some time Sahadeva falls. After some time Nakula falls. After some time Arjuna and Bhima, they also fall. Dharmaraja alone is there, and one dog, it was following him all through. And then that dog also falls. The dog also goes. When at that time, the Lord Indra from heaven, he sends one heavenly chariot, and he says, okay, come in, let's go to heaven. So, okay, he wants to take the dog also along with him. So the gods say, no, dog cannot come. Then he says, no, this dog has been with me all through, and I can't leave it here. I can't leave it like a destitute. It has to come, otherwise I will also not come. So then gods were happy that this man is so generous, and then he is so what can we say? He is so generous, and he is so such a great follower of dharma. He follows dharma so correctly. So the gods were so pleased, and then the dog was actually another god who was actually testing this gentleman, this Dharmaraja. So this Dharmaraja also goes to heaven, and there ends the story. That was the final test for Dharmaraja, that is taking the dog to heaven. So with that, we complete the summary of this Mahabharata, and this story is in that huge text. So let us see slowly how it goes. From tomorrow, we'll get into the text. Harihi Om Tat Sat.